All right, recording has started, and this is the March 21st, 2023 Rook community meeting. So we will jump on into our milestones before going into the community topics and questions as well. The agenda doc is open for folks that want to add any suggestions or topics that they want to explore together. So in the Zoom chat, I am dropping a link to the agenda doc directly there, so you can hop in there and add some ideas if there are things that you all want to talk about that aren't currently on the agenda. All right, so 1.10 looks like in about a week's time, maybe a little bit less, I guess. No, exactly, I guess. There is the 1.10.13 patch release that's planned. I don't recall anything driving that explicitly, or things that must go out. So probably typical cadence release there. Or Travis, do you want to kind of catch us up on what's included in that release?
Yeah, there are a few fixes in it. I don't recall offhand which ones, but a few interesting to get it out in a release. Yeah, I figured next week, I proposed next Tuesday, just to be, I think that'll be 4 weeks since the previous release. Since 1.10 is more stable, just doing it less often at this point makes sense. So that felt right to wait just a bit longer on that. Of course, if someone needs any of those fixes, we could always do it sooner, but I haven't heard of a need for any of those urgently. So we'll do that next week.
All right, any particular issues you want to hop in there, or we'll move on to 1.11 patching?
It's probably about time to move some of those out of the to-do column onto 1.11, since 1.10 isn't the active focus anymore, but I'll clean that up later.
Yep, that sounds very reasonable. All right, let's hop then into 1.11.1. Looks like that will take a bit. Oh, sorry, hold on. We did 1.11.1. Apologies. That is already out. That's the link to the release there. That was before we got that one out before the last community meeting, right?
Yeah, it was the day before.
Right. Okay, that's
so
what
now.
Okay, so I think we went over that.
Yep. So if we do one today, then it'll be 2 weeks in a day.
Got it. So let's go then hop into what would be included in the 1.11.2 patch release.
Yeah, well, there are a number of fixes. I feel like we got all the important or urgent things out in the .1 release. So this one will be more of our 2-week cadence now, based on 1.11. I don't know if there's any real burning issues to talk through in this board, but the one in the blocking release column there isn't really a code bug, but just want to keep it on our radar as far as the Slack adjoining Slack link is down, so we can talk about that later in the agenda.
We'll talk about that explicitly later on in the agenda as well.
Yep. But otherwise, yeah, things are in progress. Yeah, I don't know what else to point out from this board unless somebody has some more specific questions. Guess not.
All right. Well then, sounds like then that we will follow up on getting that 1.11.2 patch release out today, and we can move on to the community topics then. So yes, the Travis was just mentioning that the slack.rook.io link or site is down and not functioning. So it is not possible to currently use that typical link that is in a lot of places. It's in the README, it's in presentations we've done, it's all over the place, right? That is like the front door for joining our Slack community, and it is currently down, as you will see here. You get an application error. Okay, so quick update on this, Travis, because I've been directly working on debugging this behavior, so I might have a little bit more context than you do. But it looks like there are a number of issues that are blocking we're running into now. So well, first off, we do have a workaround where we have this a link that's generated by Slack to be able to join still and go through that workflow. The one downside of this is that it's they over like I think there's a maximum of 400 people that can join using that link, so you do have to refresh it over every so often, and it's not very easy to remember either. Slack.rook.io is a nice vanity URL that is easy to link to, easy to go to, easy to find, so that has been a very nice experience having that up for discoverability of joining our community there. So we do have this workaround, but it's not really ideal. So just a quick summary of the issues here is that with Slack.rook.io, it is actually an application called Slack In that is hosted in Heroku, and it is a fairly out of date application. It was written, I don't know, like 5-6 years ago, and it no longer has current maintainers on it. So some things in the Slack API have since changed since the application was originally written. So we're calling some deprecated APIs or things that no longer exist and running into errors. Along with that, it is using a very, very ancient version of Node, and that appears to have issues with its certificate trust chain that it uses, and is not able to make successfully SSL HTTPS network calls. So a couple of different things that need to be tackled there. I'm working on updating the Node runtime and being able to successfully do SSL HTTPS stuff. And then another contributor is working on updating the logic itself to call updated Slack APIs. So I am really hoping for a resolution to this week, because it is definitely blocking growth and expansion of the community and more adopters coming in. But we have this workaround in the meantime. And Travis, do you have any ideas about how to spread this workaround a little, like for more visibility in the meantime? It would be nice if you could do DNS to say slack.rook.io is actually now this link with these parameters in this path, but you can't do that.
Yeah,
So
I looked at it and like, can we use a DNS somehow? Yeah, just to redirect, because then it would almost solve it. We would just have to update that link every once in a while.
Yeah, I would not take the maintenance burden of dealing with Slack in anymore if DNS could do this easily.
Real quick, couldn't we just use like a GitHub pages for that? Just put in an index HTML which redirects you to rook.io/slack.com/join. Like as far as I'm aware, we really just have to press this button, right?
Yeah, if we could do a site with the redirect, yeah, that sounds like it would work.
If I don't know who has access to the DNS stuff, like if you point it to GitHub, I can look into that.
Yeah, that's totally possible, Alexander. And the one downside is that that Slack for security reasons do not these links expire and they have to be refreshed over time. So it's I think you can set it so that time wise it does not expire, but number of invitations it does expire, and that's 400, which isn't that's a fair number. That's probably, I don't know. Actually, I'm not quite sure how long that is, but it's probably like a couple months or something like that, right? So it's so people will probably run into, oh, this doesn't work, and we'll have to go and refresh it, and that's kind of annoying that we'd hit that. But that is a reasonable suggestion to throw a simple static site that redirects to this link.
But actually, in parallel of Jared, you and Alvaro, I think, investigating this Slack-in replacement. If we could just set that up, Alexander, in the meantime, and say, hey, does this work? And because we would want to do that if we don't get the other one working, right? I think that would be useful.
Yeah, is that something you want to take on, Alexander? Yeah, like it's like a POC, just like get that up and running, see if it works, and then hey, if the ergonomics are good and it's reliable, whatever, then let's just update the DNS to point at it.
Sure. At least my problem would be I don't think I have access to the DNS stuff.
You should, because we have self-service that maintainers get access to that. So if you don't have access to it, we should get you access to it. There's no reason not to have that. So yeah, we could do that while we're along this at the same time.
Exactly. I'll follow up with you, Alexander, and let's look at that. Yep.
Okay,
and then if that works, Alexander, we're definitely going to steal that for the cross-lane project also.
I think for the main part, either we'll try like just a simple GitHub pages or something. Like I think the worst idea I already had now was to, why don't we have GitHub Actions just run CI every 5 minutes, you know, and regenerate the link. But you know, should I just reach out to Jared and Travis, one of you?
Yeah, I'll follow up with you.
Okay.
Well, so Jared and Alvaro's from working on Ceph, trying to get the Ceph link up for Slack. And so, yeah, while they're looking on that perspective, if we can do and get this other GitHub pages working, the redirect, I think that'd be a nice thing in parallel.
So
Yeah.
quick, just to recap, so sorry, I had to join him a few minutes late. We had a customer incident. And like, how should I put it? Like the Heroku platform, or where is it running right now, or where should it be running at the moment? And
Heroku? What do you mean? What do you mean by that question?
no, sorry, I mean, where was the current Slack join thing running?
Go, Bassam set it up in a Heroku account like 5 years ago, easily.
Got it.
At the start of the Rook project.
Yeah, long time ago.
Got it.
Going on 7 years now, I think.
Yeah, we were on Gitter for a while though, so.
I remember the times on GitHub.
Alexander. So yeah, dude, that would be super helpful, Alexander.
I'll take a look.
To a simple
take a
GitHub
step.
things.
We're probably not the only ones that have an issue or something like that.
No, the chatter is increasing. Like everyone's being hit by this just last week.
Yeah.
But a lot I'd say it's somewhat constrained though, because some people moved on from, you know, using an ancient non-maintained Node.js project.
Yeah, well, I'm not gonna argue with that. So yeah, is it like either will really just Frankenstein something with like GitHub pages and GitHub Actions or something? I think that would be
in the GitHub
a bit
Actions,
of a wasteful thing, but still, you know, should work.
The GitHub Actions thing, like, doesn't, is that just for refreshing the link?
Basically, yeah, either running it once a day or even like every 12 hours, just to make sure we have a fully working link.
And that's like, and that could be a secondary thing, because I think it's, you know, it's not gonna, the link will be valid for probably at least a few weeks,
a month or two.
That's a secondary thing.
Yeah, no, like as a basic thing, let's just get an index HTML and, you know, template the link, the URL in there and get it published, and then we'll look into making it a bit more smooth.
Yeah, sounds good, man. Thank you very much for being willing to take that on, buddy. All right, so that's that issue, and so let's move on to CI tests that are now regularly failing.
Yeah, for the last couple of weeks, well, even longer than that, we've had a bunch of intermittent tests that are failing, or maybe one or two consistently failing. So we got, we started to get on top of that, and then just realized that, oh, well, now we've got 4 consistently failing, that some of the same that were intermittent are now consistently failing. So I opened this issue yesterday to finally say, okay, here's some more clues. They've been triggered since this encryption key rotation was merged a couple of weeks ago. But yeah, I finally just dug in yesterday, and I think there's hopefully a simple fix in it. But there may be an underlying issue here that affects KMS deployments, not just the key rotation, maybe as might have been suspected. So anyway, looking into it, but hopeful to get the CI stable and green again, because when it's not green, then we get desensitized to things failing, and it's not good. I don't believe there's any blockers as far as deployments or the release today, for example, but we do want to get this fixed. So yes, that's kind of my next priority, hoping to make progress today. That's all for that one on my mind.
Sorry, I was on mute. My bad. But yeah, thanks for capturing that, Travis, and following up on it so that we can, you know, have reliable tests and, you know, be able to not get desensitized to non-green colors. All right. Anything, Travis,
Yeah.
to update on here for KubeCon Amsterdam and collecting ideas for the talk? I know you've been soliciting
No.
that a little bit. You want to make more update there?
I haven't seen any responses on Slack. So just if anybody has input on what they'd like to hear at KubeCon, we're collecting input on how we can do the panel, and hopefully all 4 of us can get there. I know Dabika's still working on her visa and all that. So anyway, hope that all works out, and we'll, if anybody has ideas, let me know.
All right. Sounds good, Travis. Okay, so that was everything that was in the agenda document. So if does anybody have other topics they wanted to bring up now? All righty. Well, if that is all, then we can go ahead and adjourn for the week, and we'll follow up on the Slack invitation thing, and hopefully get something up and running soon there with Alex's glorious web development skills.
Hey, I'm just diving into the Vue.js and stuff like that at the moment.
I said that with no sarcasm at all. It's jealousy is what it is. I have 0 web development skills.
Right.
All right, man.
Every CSS framework, Jared. All good.
You go on, buddy. You go on. All right, everybody. Good to see everybody here. We'll see you on Slack for those that are already in there. All right, see you, everybody.
Yeah. All right. See you.